Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch, brought to you by the Share Investor Group, providing stock market data analytics, investor education, and online investor relations. It's Tuesday and we have Jessica Amir, market strategist at Saxo Capital Markets, coming to us out of Australia. Now, Jessica, great to have you back.
Great to see you again.
Now, Jessica, before we get your insights, let's take a quick look at how crypto markets are performing and also regional stock markets. We start with Bitcoin. It's at 20,481.5. It's up 3.42%. Ethereum is at 1,578.57. It's up 8.98%. Looking across the regional stock markets, we start with the Straits Times Index in Singapore. It's up 0.52%. KLCI in Malaysia is down 0.13%. Shanghai is down 0.58%. The ASX All Ordinaries is up 0.75%. The Nikkei is up 1.14%. The Hang Seng is down 1.07%. And we round up the numbers with the Kospi, which is up 0.86%. Now, Jessica, what's your view on the mixed market performance in the first half of the day?
Well, the market is toying with a lot at the moment. We've got the energy crisis, Brian, that is only just getting worse. We've got runaway oil, gas, and coal prices, which have again hit fresh records, respectively. At the same time, the tech sector and the growth sectors are being sold down consecutively for the second straight day. And this comes after Jerome Powell's hawkish comments, of course, at the weekend at the Jackson Hole. And we think that the market is only really just scratching at the tip of the iceberg, if you will, in really catering for this new higher for longer interest rate, higher for longer inflationary environment. The futures still have it wrong, Brian. The futures are still pricing in that rates will be cut next year, and the market is getting that wrong. So the market is only just starting to price in on the growth side, on the growth side, the growth sectors I'm talking about. The growth sectors are only starting to price in high for longer rates. That's a concern. Meanwhile, markets are rotating and continuing to back those value sectors as such. They include energy names, gas, coal companies, as well as agricultural companies as well, are setting higher prices today across the Asia Pacific.
Now, I want to zoom in on energy itself, because that's really the crux of investor concerns right now, not only in Europe, but increasingly also in Asia. Given that scenario, what are the stocks that particularly in Australia are going to benefit from this run up in energy prices?
Well, that's a great question. I guess there's many ways to skin a cat, I guess, if you will. But if you think about the prices that are affecting us, what is affecting runaway inflation in Australia? Well, it's much like the rest of the world, and that is higher energy prices. So electricity prices are again at brand new record highs, and the coal futures price, we know, why am I talking about coal futures? Well, Australia gets 60% of their energy from coal. And the coal futures price, Brian, is dangerously suggesting that coal prices, as such, electricity bills will continue to hit high levels over the duration of the years to come. Now, what this is suggesting is that the coal price will continue to hit new record highs, and as such, coal stocks today are hitting record levels. Australia's biggest pure play coal stock, called Whitehaven Coal, has hit a brand new record high of $8.13. That's never been sent before. We saw Whitehaven Coal announce record earnings results as well. But as such, if you pivot to another energy play, today, Brian, we saw Australia's largest oil and gas company, the world's 10th biggest oil and gas company, report extreme profit growth. So profit growth of 400% plus year on year. And that's on the back of oil and gas prices moving to higher levels. But what does this mean for investors? Well, it's been great if you've been investing into them. However, casting to the future, we are expecting higher energy prices across the board. And as such, this could likely and possibly continue to drive high earnings growth and share price growth in these companies.
Now, looking at equities across the world, I think the summation is one of volatility. And if you look at the VIX index is at near highs, suggesting further volatility. What's your view on this, and how should investors react to this spike in VIX in the VIX index?
Yeah, I think this has kind of been out of investors' radars for some time, but it's a great question. So the volatility index has just hit a 9-week high. So the volatility index is peaking again, and it's forming an uptrend pattern from a technical perspective. And this is suggesting that volatility will pick up. And the fundamentals are supporting this as well. So why? Well, that's because bond yields are spiking. So the 2-year bond yield is as high as it's been since 2007, in fact. So risk sentiment is very bearish right now, and it's probably going to get a lot more bearish. What will it take for another move down in equities? Well, probably more hawkish remarks from the Fed, who's just really started to get ultra hawkish, and of course, higher than expected rate rises in September. So if we get those two things, we'll probably see equities, particularly the growth sectors of the market, buckle down further. Inversely, those sectors that are benefiting from runaway record inflation, energy stocks, the energy sectors, as well as agriculture, they're expected to move higher though. So we are seeing this return to the modus operandi. So the shift back out of growth and into value stocks. So that's probably going to continue for as long as inflation is on this runaway high record inflation train. But the key message here is for investors, really be on guard. The volatility index is just really only starting to wake up again.
Now, Jessica, as always, thank you very much for your insights, and thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
We've been speaking to Jessica Amir, market strategist at Saxo Capital Markets, on BizTech's Asian Midday Market Watch, brought to you by the Share Investor Group, providing stock market data analytics, investor education, and online investor relations. I'm Brian Fernandez. This video and podcast will be on our website, www.biztech.asia, as well as our social media platforms. It will also be on our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thank you very much for tuning in.